Hey, Facebook and YouTube and wherever else this ends up. This morning, I was looking at just from having some conversations with people and doing my own writing process. Um, this is, in the simplest terms, when you look at the concept of self development, self improvement, self help, working on yourself, that kind of thing, right? It just becomes thrown around and it really doesn't mean anything. What it actually means is you're willing to work on yourself to feel some sort of energy experience, but it doesn't guarantee that there's any real substantial physical change within yourself and therefore the world. Now, we talk about self perfection. We have the group Self Perfected. Check it out, self-perfected.com. You can join our Facebook group where we have people that are willing to go way beyond self improvement because, again, self improvement can very easily just become a breeding ground for self delusion and self manipulation and not actually really changing. So, here is the main difference self perfection is being willing to look at everything within yourself, even the points that you resist. Those are the most important points where you feel that resistance and it feels shitty. It does not feel good. You don't want to look at it. Such as the reality that you may have this image in your mind of who you think you want to be. Like you're this happy, loving person that's like always upbeat or whatever, right? You think that you're that person or that you're very wealthy and you're able to give back to the world or you whatever that vision is in your mind. And then you see your real day-to-day life and you realize what it takes to actually make money, to actually make an impact, or to face your fears, or go out and talk to people, or maybe make a live stream and express yourself publicly, or put yourself on the line and risk being ridiculed by people. That is self-perfection, being willing to look with self-honesty and have principle at where you're actually at and changing where you're actually at. Because we have this thing called a mind. And in your mind, you're able to literally think that you are a god, that you're a superhero, that you're this perfect person, or you're able to think that you're this totally corrupted, horrible person and you aren't worth anything and you have low self-esteem and all that. Either way, both of those are delusion and will distract you. But the issue is that self-improvement and self-development, these don't even factor that in. Self-development and self-improvement is like, yeah, I'm going to like improve myself and I'm going to like think positive and be grateful and all that stuff. Or I'm even going to go like with Tony Robbins and get really date with destiny. Or I'm going to walk on fire. I'm going to do this, 6-week program, all this shit. But guess what? At the end, did you fundamentally change who you are on a deep, unconscious and subconscious and conscious level? Are you looking at the various personalities and characters you developed from your childhood, from your first 7 years? Are you looking at how you're defining and living words? For example, living the word relationship. What does that look like to you? Do you realize that that word relationship is so charged with energy that it comes from those first 7 years when you witnessed either your mom and dad or a Disney movie or whoever raised you, and that's literally what you got programmed with, and now you're just walking that program out in reality. You're like a pre-programmed robot. We all are. We're all organic robots that got programmed by our environment, specifically words and images in our early childhood, and as well as traumatic events that happen in adulthood. But I don't know about you, but I'm not going to walk around intentionally creating traumatic events just to try and change myself. But that's the level that real change happens, is unconscious. So that now, for example, for everyone, so this is the self-development approach and then the self-perfected approach, okay? Self-development approach would look at, let's say, COVID happened last year, right? And then when it got real serious, in that they shut down the economy and they did all these restrictions, right? It's very easy for someone who's in self-development, who does affirmations every day and looks with, and does gratitude and journaling and all this stuff to try and feel good, right? But the moment you saw that news and you realized for real, like, whoa, there's recession happening. What was that first thought? Because that shows you who you really are in your subconscious and your unconscious. Is that thought just well, is it no thought and you're just breathing? You're able to say, okay, new information, process the information, okay, direct myself within my principles and just do what's best. Because that's what the self-perfection approach is. Now that takes years. In your self-honesty, it takes about 7 years to get to that level of real change. Now you can have dramatic change in 7 months with it, even 7 weeks, but real change takes patience and perfection. It's not some overnight quick fix. It's not some big grandiose. It's like, look at nature. You ever watch a tree grow? You can't see it grow day to day. Barely. It's springtime here, so we have like leaves coming back on the trees. And you see it and it's like every day you don't really see much of a change, but you look after a week, tree looks a little different. You look a month later, tree looks different, right? That's what self-perfection is little by little by little by little by little, applying yourself at every moment. But guess what? You can fall in any moment. Because if you're not careful, you have an ego. It's part of your mind, and it can take revenge. But don't fear it. Just realize that that's how it's been set up. But at any moment you can breathe, you can forgive yourself, you can release yourself from the past, you can realize what's best to do, and then realize, like make real, not just in your mind, I realize this, I realize that. It's like, no, realize, like look up the definition of the word realize. It's to make real. Then as you make that change real, then you can work toward creating yourself, first within yourself, and then with others, and you can build, and you can really create as this improving, perfecting version of yourself. What self-perfection is, it's not self-perfectionism, like I have to be perfect, otherwise everything's ruined. Self-perfection is the process of becoming as faultless as possible. Becoming as faultless as possible. And for anyone who says, only Jesus can do that, only Buddha can do that, only God can, whatever, that's putting them as the authority over you, and you basically becoming a slave and then being a master. When in reality, would Jesus want you to just be a slave following you around like a sheep? Following him around like a sheep? Would he rather see you as someone who can understand what he's saying, such as, let's give as we want to receive, let's treat everyone as our equals, let's create heaven on earth, and then do that? And you can look to Jesus for inspiration, so to say, based on the words that he lived. Granted, it's been translated multiple times, but why not see that as an equal? Because he also said in the Bible that we can do things even greater than him. So if I'm just sitting around looking for Jesus to be the Savior or someone else to be the Savior, how is that doing something greater? Right? But this takes real self-honesty to look at yourself and realize, because it's not just a quick decision of, okay, I can do things greater than Jesus. Because a lot of spiritual people can get into that too. And I was this for years where I'm like, I guess, we're not sinful and we can just create a better world. That's also delusion, because you have to look with self-honesty at what it takes to change. You can't just change in a moment through a conscious decision and then expect that it's going to change reality. You can change from a decision, but a real decision is followed by action. And then there's a definition of the word character that really encapsulates all of this. So there's a definition of character, comes from Cavett Robert. That is, character is following through on a decision long after the excitement and emotion of the moment has passed. So real character means, sure, you can make that decision of, let's create a better world, whatever. But then have the integrity to actually back that up with action and realize that that will take years and years and years of study, investigation, applying yourself, falling, getting back up, falling again, getting back up, connecting with people, brainstorming ideas, bouncing ideas, and then, over time, becoming as faultless as possible to do what's best for all, which means best for you too. So that's self-perfection. Self-perfection, to encapsulate this, is being willing to go directly into that resistance. It's actually seeing that resistance as a teacher and a guide. You know that feeling, that shitty feeling? You're like, I don't want to do that, right? How many times, though, do we just give in to that? We're like, let me just do that other thing. But guess what? Then your mind gets stronger and it upgrades. It's like a security update. And then your mind knows even more how to keep you stuck. Your ego. Self-preservation. It's like keep status quo and just go through life trying to get the most energy possible. That's the pre-programmed design. But you can start to dismantle that point by point. And guess what? The best feeling ever, better than any sort of mind energy high, is when you do what's best. And you follow through on a decision, even through the tough times. And it sucks. It may not feel good, but guess what? You will feel good in the sense of like, you know, when they say that someone's a good person, so they do the right thing, like even when no one's watching, that can be you. And I would encourage you to really look at that level of integrity. That is self-perfection. That's an attribute of self-perfection. And you can perfect that within yourself. And then guess what? As you do that, you're going to start resonating with different types of people, and new people will come into your life. It's phenomenal. I've had more fun over the past year than I ever thought possible. But it's because I've taken on this journey fully. And I've fallen, but I get back up. I look with self-honesty. I have to get real. And it hurts sometimes. It sucks. You face the resistance and it feels like you want to throw up. It is not pleasant. And it hurts. But you just breathe. You forgive yourself. You use the tools that we talk about. And then you walk that change day by day as the cutting edge of reality. Because as you can walk this process, as other people do this resonates out into the world. And it's amazing. We have some people in our group. We have 17 and an 8-year-old that just joined, or 17 and an 18-year-old that just joined. We have more young people looking at this because they see the state of the world as so bleak. It is so bad. And it's so polarized. And it's unacceptable to just keep participating in the energy, because that's energy. It's polar. There's the extreme positive and the extreme negative. It's like I'm pro-COVID vaccine in the mask, or I'm anti-COVID vaccine in the mask. It's like, let's find a common ground, common sense, middle ground. But first, within self. And every time I make these videos, I have to check myself. So am I just trying to make this video to tell other people what to do? Or is it that I see this for myself, it makes sense, and I realize the benefit that can bring to other people to hear these words? And then, beyond just hearing the words, living the words. So that's self-perfection. Face through these points, even when you feel resistance. If you don't know how to do that, which likely you don't, if you're not doing DIP, there's no way you have the vocabulary and the understanding of how to actually work through the resistance and dismantle this, because you have characters. Again, this stuff comes from early childhood. And when you have self-honesty and you're willing to look at it, there's a free course, DIP Lite. It is amazing. It is so well done. It's like you get a new computer and it comes with a manual to show you how to do it, like a little tutorial. That's what DIP is for being a human. Highly suggest look at it and leave a comment, reach out if any of this resonates with you, because guess what? If it's only a handful of us doing this journey, it ain't gonna cut it. Part of the process of self-perfection is then learning how to take more responsibility and maintaining and growing connections with other people, which comes through communication, such as a live stream right here. So that's what's up. That's enough for today. I would definitely have some more live streams coming, but I hope you enjoyed that, and I hope you take the message of self-perfection seriously, because you don't want to get through your life and then realize it's too late, you know, where you're just deluding yourself in self-improvement the whole time, you know, until you hit that point of resistance, because that's actually the biggest point that's going to change everything when you go through that resistance, like the eye of the needle. All right, y'all. Talk soon.